Hi crafty friends, welcome to the Kat Scrappiness YouTube channel. If you're new here, we would love to have you click subscribe and click that bell to get notifications every time one of us uploads a new video. I'm Kim and today I'm going to make a coffee card that I can tuck a gift card for a couple of my former colleagues. I'm retired. They're all about to go back to school, so I thought I would actually make some coffee cards and tuck a little coffee gift card inside for them and send it to them to greet them on the first day. So I'm using this fantastic coffee cover die. I love cover dies. They're very pricey, so I always want to make sure that I use them. Like, I use them more than once. I try different techniques with them. One technique that I love to do with cover dies is the inlaid die cutting technique. I'm not doing that today, but I know that several people on the design team, included myself, have put videos up on the Kat Scrappiness YouTube channel that show you exactly how to do inlaid die cutting. So you could do that technique. I kind of like the white behind the blue, and I'm using this Let's Get Caffeinated stamp set. You can see there are 6 fun sentiments here. There's a coffee cup, there's some coffee beans, there's a little heart. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to pick one of the sentiments there. So I cut my card base at 5.5 by 8.5. I scored it at 4.25, and I used my Teflon bone folder to score it and to really give that fold a nice crease. And it's a nice professional looking fold when you do that. It's just one of those little details that makes your card look more professional. So I felt like it was kind of overwhelming just to have this cover die in this dark color. So I pulled out my A2 frame die set and I used the second largest one. And I'm going to kind of put that frame in the center of the card just to give a little bit of interesting detail and to give your eyes a place to rest with all the background detail that I'm going to have here from this cover die. So that's just one interesting way to use this cover die. Frame parts of it, and the coffee cups really lend themselves well to framing. So you can see I used my glue tube, and this particular one is the My Favorite Things glue tube, which Kat Scrappiness sells in her store, and she's got other glue tubes there too. I love the glue tubes because they give me a little wiggle room time, but they dry nicely and quickly, and they also dry clear and matte, so you don't get any shiny spots should you accidentally get some glue where you don't want it. Like, it won't show up once it dries, which is nice. So I'm just adding some liquid glue there to that frame, and now I'm just fussing with that to put that down, and I like that. I feel like it just breaks up the pattern on the front just a little bit, and it almost feels like I have 2 frames there, like I deliberately created a frame with coffee beans for outside of my white frame. So I like that. So I'm pulling out one of the sentiments. It says life happens, coffee helps. I think this is a perfect sentiment to send to one of my teacher friends, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in my favorite black ink. I'm using my high polymer Pentel eraser there for conditioning my stamp because this is the first time I've used it. Now, these products have been in the Kat Scrappiness store for a while. I just happen to think this is a perfect time of year to make some back to school cards for teachers. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm cleaning off that stamp, putting it back, and I'm just cleaning off with water because my black ink is a dye ink. So I just spritzed it with water and wiped it off with an microfiber cloth, and I decided I really want to just cut around the sentiment. And to help me cut around the sentiment a little bit better, I'm taking that stamp, I lined it back up with the letters, and I am going to take a pencil and trace around the outside edge of that stamp, and that's going to give me a place to cut it. I suspect if there had ever been a die created for this particular stamp set, it would be going around the edges of the stamp just exactly like I'm doing. So I'm pulling out and I did that lightly, so I didn't push down at all. So I can erase any stray bits of that line that I just created. And I'm using my paper snips to go around and cut this out now. So that kind of makes me, like instead of freehand cutting it, doing this little technique kind of makes me feel less trepidation about actually fussy cutting around a sentiment, because I don't often do it, and I love having the dies that coordinate with sentiments that so many stamp sets have today. So I like this, but I want to add another little touch. So I pulled out some black twine, and I want to now go around that, but since I made my card a side fold card, I have to actually put a little hole there, and I'm going to use my paper piercer here and just poke a little hole on the side, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to thread that black twine through that hole. So a useful tip for threading that large twine through one of those little holes, use a needle threader. That works really well. Most of us have at least one of those in our stash somewhere. Otherwise, it'll take you a minute to get that in there, and I tied a little bow. I'm adding some of this great scrapbook adhesive. These are the 3D foam dots. So I added 4 to the back of that. That'll pop it up enough that the twine will work underneath it. I tied a little bow, and I was pretty happy with that. So the last thing I'd like to add is some embellishments, and I've got a couple of these Kat Scrappiness embellishment organizers. They come with these little containers in them. It's completely filled with the little containers, and you can see through the top what colors you have, and you can see any of the clay slice shaker bits you have. I pulled out some dark chocolate pearls. I love the pearl mixes at Kat Scrappiness. This is an embellishment tray that she sells, but the pearls come in a variety of sizes, and I really like that. So she's also got an embellishment spoon you can use, and I'm using the new reverse tweezers that Kat Scrappiness has, and that's going to allow me to pick up my pearls and place them where I want them. I put 3 up to the right and 2 down to the left, and now I'm just going to add some liquid glue and use my tweezers to go ahead and adhere those. And to get these pearls back in the container, I just slide that top off the little container, then pour them in from my triangle embellishment tray, and slide the lid back in, and that goes right back into my embellishment organizer. Kat Scrappiness has a lot of craft organizers, friends. If you didn't realize that, definitely browse her organization section, because you'll be pleasantly surprised with all of the organizing tools she has, just to help us organize our craft supplies. It's really wonderful. So I glued all those down. That completes my card. Here you can see it all finished, nice and simple. I can tuck the gift card in under the twine on the inside. I'll put all the links for these products below. I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends so they can find us here at Kat Scrappiness. Thank you so much for watching, friends. I hope you have a very creative day.